live.
Welcome back, loyal listeners, to Season 2, Episode 13 of Point 3 Podcast. It is Wednesday, July 24th, and we are one day away, one sleep away. Most of us 24 hours away, less than 24 hours away from seeing Deadpool and Wolverine. And we're thrilled to have you join us to talk about it, deep dive it later on, and go through our final predictions for it and just get hyped over it because it's finally here. I am Spider Brando alongside up to the top left, Hero Scroll, and top right, Funko Lou.
Yo.
We are your favorite trio of hosts, and I'm ready to talk. Let's just get through the news and let's just get through the news and freaking Deadpool convos. There's some white stuff this week. Big stuff, kinda, but that's what we do here. Go through the news, then go into some deep dives, and we love talking. So
real quick before we jump into the news, if you're watching this and you are not a part of the Point 3 Podcast Discord, jump in there because we want to know what you thought of the movie and we want to talk about it on our next live stream. Some feedback, what y'all thought. Is it the splat? Is it the fresh tomato? What are you thinking? So swinging over to Discord, join us. Let us know your hype level. Anything less than a 50, unacceptable. But, go ahead.
I was just going to say the other thing. Make sure everybody subscribe to us.
Yeah.
Everybody subscribe if you're watching, because especially if you want to stay updated with our review for when it comes out, our official review. I think, like Spider Brando was saying, all three of us are seeing this tomorrow. I started a little countdown timer right now while Spider Brando was doing the intro. I have 17 hours and like 20 minutes till Deadpool.
Dude,
I'm jealous.
So, yeah. For myself, 3:30 p.m. is my showing.
7:15 for me.
Yeah, I would love to go see it at 3:30. That's not in the cards. We're gonna have to wait till the sun goes down. So
still gonna see it though. So
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm trying not to say too much to save it for the deep dive, but like, man, I'm ready.
So, first piece of news, SB, you got something?
Oh, let me just give Discord a shout out real quick.
Okay,
that we are
fair enough.
live, because another reason to join Discord, I'll always get daily updates and chats. First piece of news though, I saw the Joker 2 trailer came out, or the second trailer came out the other day, and that looks pretty interesting. They showed a little bit more of the musical elements to it, not like too much, but there's a scene of Joker singing a little bit and them dancing. So I'm excited for that, but it's always gonna be a hard watch. Those movies they feel super, super real, as we've talked about in the past. And it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna mess with our minds, emotions. That is hey, listen, shout out to Rated R Movies for this year though. Just really box off booming. So should be good, but I still, even with the trailer dropping, like it's getting swallowed by Deadpool Wolverine. Just hardcore.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say this was kind of a bad time to pick the trailer because I think it dropped this morning. Yesterday they had like a little countdown stream going on for it. That was going the 24 hours till the trailer reveal. Yeah, I just think this week was a bad choice marketing wise. And I mean, obviously they may have been planning on this for months ahead of time, and someone in DC didn't realize. Either they did realize or they were trying to capitalize. I just think they weren't going about it the right way.
Yeah.
Real quick. I think Spider Brando, you actually threw this in our Discord. The Venice Film Festival chief Alberto Barbera who has actually seen the film, said that Joker 2 is one of the most daring, brave, and creative films in recent American cinema. And they were astonished. Their mouths were open at the end of the screening, and that was via Deadline. So I think stuff like that'll surface as time goes on, but still haven't seen anything from the movie. Like, I just don't think that's on people's radars yet.
I just want to say we were very on point with point 3 right there, because that's literally exactly what I was just about to bring up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Throw it up there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, I think this is it's probably going to be that.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be really good. And again, if you watch our trailer, our teaser reaction, we kind of say that we don't expect anything less from the movie. It's just kind of one of those, we'll see what happens with it. If there's just other stuff we're more hyped about, again, Deadpool and Wolverine. I think the biggest surprise out of it, though, is that if you're someone who watches with your closed captions, and it's always interesting to watch trailers with closed captions on, because it tends to reveal some stuff to you that you might not have thought of, but a voice that was in the Joker 2 trailer says that Harvey Dent will be appearing in the movie. And for those who don't know, Harvey Dent is Two-Face, or becomes Two-Face down the line. Interesting that they're incorporating other Batman characters, though.
I'm okay with that. That's a good choice.
It's gonna be big.
I think he's only had, what, 2 interpretations in the last 20 years-ish? The Tommy Lee Jones, and then...
It makes it curious, though, that they might not use Harvey in the DCU.
I think you still could.
Yeah, that's true. Because if Joker is only... I mean, I don't think we'll get a third one, so... I guess he'll probably just be like a one and done.
It also depends on if you go down the Two-Face route.
True.
Yeah.
Because, I think you can use Harvey at any point. It's just, do you keep going with him in Two-Face?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I don't see this movie doing a Two-Face, but I could see them referencing it somehow.
Just paying some homage to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do we have any other DC news?
There was a report that DC Studios will reportedly break some news at SDCC, despite James Gunn not having a panel there. So we kind of theorized that ourselves on our SDCC prediction video a couple weeks ago, that they'd still do something. So I'm excited for what it is. As we were just talking about Joker, my mind started thinking a little bit and started to really make me wonder, with Batman 2 getting not rewritten but taking a while to write, if they just flop the whole Elseworlds thing and really make that universe DCU. But it's not going to happen.
No.
It would be pretty decent. I don't know. Cornstead and Pattinson together would just be... They would just be cool.
No.
I'm actually okay if they keep them separate. I like this Pattinson universe to be its own thing, and the reason I say that is because I was scrolling Instagram a little earlier, right before we all jumped on here, and I saw a report saying that apparently the Pattinson universe is being called the Batman Epic Crime Saga.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting choice, because if you give it to me, once you start labeling something, that means you have a lot of faith in it. And that means you want to make it a lot bigger. And with reports of the Penguin leading directly into Batman 2, it being the second chapter of this universe, I don't think they're just going to go up and scrap it. And even though we haven't heard much on the film, I'm pretty sure work has been going on. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this SDCC stuff would be an announcement for the Batman 2.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
That'd be cool. Be down for that. Hero Scroll, you mentioned something earlier before we get into some Marvel news, potentially regarding DC and Marvel.
Yeah. So Kevin Feige has actually been doing interviews. They let him out of the hole that they put him in. I guess Bob Iger said, "Hey, go
He's
do
been on
some media
fire
runs."
recently.
Yeah. And we'll get to some other comments that he said about the MCU. But yeah, they asked him about the obvious big elephant in the room about an MCU and a DCU crossover. So now, obviously, in a kind of chopped together quote, Kevin Feige said, "I don't know when in the heck that would ever happen or how that would happen. We'll never say never, but in reference to right now, no plans." So I think it's just interesting the fact that he even acknowledged it, because that's not the type of thing that you would normally acknowledge in this kind of interview.
You got to keep the door open for that. Go ahead, Sweater Arena.
I was just saying, it gets you thinking. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but
No.
That would be like the end of the superhero genre. Like if it was really bad, like that's when I feel like they'll pull this out. They're like, we got to do something. But
yeah. I mean,
that's
with the
like,
comics getting reprinted from the crossovers back in the day and the Omnis coming out, that could start generating a good amount of hype for it.
I don't know. According to every person on the internet, comic book fans aren't actually like live action fans, so they have no say in stuff. So, you know.
Oh, that's a conversation for another day. That's a conversation.
Oh man, dude, I've been hot on that for Deadpool and Wolverine, but yeah, different day.
Yeah, same here. I do think it will happen though, in our lifetime.
In our lifetime,
we will see a MCU DCU crossover. We might be 85, but it will happen in our lifetime. But no, honestly, I could see this being something 20 years down the line. Like 15, 20 years. The only reason I would say that is because, as crappy as it is to say, it's just the truth. DC wise, they're not on the same level as Marvel in terms of like a box office draw and casual eyes. The only person they really have is like Batman. Superman, they're trying to build that up. That's why James Gunn is doing everything he's doing with Superman right now. So they really need to catch up to the MCU, and the MCU needs to kind of get back on track with its own box office. And I think it kind of starts tomorrow with Deadpool and Wolverine. And it both need to be steady and stable, and they both need to tell a story that they want to tell first. And then once they've kind of exhausted as much as they could, then that's when I think they start that. I think DC wants to come out, do their own thing, maybe have one or two like of their own sagas, and then make a crossover.
Yeah.
That's valid. He's got a comment from Working. Hello, Working. DC animated greater than MCU live action, but live action is the box office draws. This is how I take. DC animation freaking cooks. It's very solid, and it has been for quite some time.
Yeah. I could see there being a Marvel DC animated crossover before live action.
I could see a game coming out first.
Yeah.
I think that's what starts it. I think you would get a game first
with its own story. Yeah.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I don't think it would be the Injustice in our NetherRealm.
Because
I don't think NetherRealm would be the one. Even though, like, if you want your best presentation and best foot forward, I think NetherRealm would probably be your people to do it. I just think whenever it happens, it's going to be something really random. We're not going to expect it.
Here's the thing. X-Men 97 might be closing the gap. If there is a flagship DC animated show that comes out that kind of fits in somewhere with the live action, I think you could get that 90s universe that crosses over with, I don't know, and then just pull in, all the Spider-Verse stuff. Oh, that could be a different conversation for a different day.
Let's say that it most definitely is.
Now, I'll throw this out here. Kevin Feige did say that not every Phase 4 character will be in the next Avengers movie. So there's not going to be room for hundreds of thousands of characters in it. So choices will have to be made. That's for sure. But then again, it doesn't mean you won't ever see anybody again. So, gents, for this first core piece of MCU news, are you surprised that now it's out on record saying, hey, the character pool expanded over the last 4 years? Don't expect to see all these characters in the next Avengers level movie that potentially is going to be directed by the Russo brothers. Ooh. Oh. Oh.
He hit him with that Batista. He did that Batista style. He was like, yeah, no, this is no bueno. No bueno.
Not
Why?
chef's kiss certified.
Yeah.
Because
Spider-Man.
we've been waiting like so many years to see them come back already. And it's like, when's the next time we're going to see them? It's been freaking, by the time we see Cap 4, and we always use this as a reference. The last time we saw Sam Wilson as Captain America was Winter Soldier in 2021. It's like freaking 3 years. But, I mean, there's also the contrast. Like, tomorrow we're going to be getting Hugh Jackman, who we haven't seen in 7 years, and Deadpool, we haven't seen in like 6 years. So, there is that to look at, that like people can wait, and it could be better to wait, but I don't know. They're setting these people up to make them feel like they have like impact for like Avenger level movies and stuff, and I just want to see them all connect.
Now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's just interesting that you would go out and kind of nerf your own movie like that, because I think a lot of people were going into like Secret Wars and Avengers 5 and being like, even if we don't see them obviously in like a leading role, I don't think anybody even expected that, like any role of significance, but like I do think it would be cool if we got a scene or two with Moon Knight in there. So to now potentially know that, okay, Moon Knight just might not be in it at all, right? And obviously this is a early, type of talk, so who knows who will be in the roster and who won't be. But if you're saying that potentially our favorite characters are just not going to be in it at all, characters that most definitely should at least have some sort of interaction with the Avengers are just not going to be there.
Yeah.
It's such an egregious, like, bad take. Not take, it's a bad look and a bad decision. Because then even like, for example, the Eternals should have some sort of interaction with them. But to know that even they might just not be cut. They just might be cut at all.
Yeah.
It just kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think this is where Marvel Studios really hurt themselves by not having more segments and pockets of the MCU to where your sub characters can really shine on an Avengers level scale, so that ultimately when you do get to an Avengers level movie, which I think in the future that's not going to be the flagship movie, but ultimately that big team up movie, you get your best from the pockets of the Midnight Suns crossing over with the Avengers, with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Like, people want to see that blender level movie. I just think now that, to me, just might be Kevin Feige deconditioning fans to be like, Avengers doesn't equal big team up anymore.
He's like, settle down. I've seen that TikTok before.
But for now, that's all we have to go on. So
Morgan asking a great question. If there are characters in the pool that are going to be cut, who are you most okay cutting? Who is essential?
Easy. Can I throw some fire real quick?
Do it.
Yes.
Young Avengers See ya. Don't need to be in the movie. Miss Marvel, get out. Don't need to be in the movie. Gone. Who's instrumental to this? If I can only pick two, right? Moon Knight, Shang-Chi. If they're not in an Avengers movie, I think that is just absolute dog water.
Yeah.
I would even
I
go
agree
as
with
far
that.
as to say Daredevil as well, but
Hmm.
I think you need to have them on screen with those characters for a whole different reason, but I think they should at least cameo in those movies. But I don't need to see Kate Bishop shooting an arrow and being like, I'm Hawkeye, and Cap is like, I can't use you because I can barely do anything myself. Like, why are you here?
Ooh, Spider Brando.
I would say Young Avengers as well. I'm just not too invested in their storyline yet, and I don't know. Kate Bishop's cool, Miss Marvel's like cool, but the whole team up thing just seems like it needs to be fleshed out a little bit, not in Avengers 5. I'd say who is essential? Spider-Man
Hmm.
and Captain America. Because Cap needs to, he's always one of the leaders of the Avengers, and I want Sam to have his time to shine of filling in that role that Steve had. As we even saw in Brave New World, always getting compared to Steve from President himself, calling him not Steve Rogers. And I picked Spider-Man, one, because of my bias, obviously, but two, he's one of the, I guess, longest tenured Avengers at this point, which is weird to say, and has the most experience, or has a lot of experience between the last couple team ups, and just even with the other Spider-Man teaming up with people and knowing how to fight with a lot of like a group now. So
What about
think that'll be
those that
cool.
haven't been in an Avengers movie though?
Oh,
It's like all of them kind of have been, so you would expect them to be in the next one at least.
Yeah.
But who is a non-Avengers character who you would expect to be on that level from Phase 4 and 5?
I think you named two
say
very
Moon Knight, yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say Moon Knight, Shang-Chi. Both are very good. And I think Moon Knight doesn't necessarily need to be an Avenger. I just think you need to bring him up back into the focus of people and be like, no, this is your A tier, S tier character that,
Yeah.
you should think of up there, even though he's not necessarily associated with the Avengers. Shuri, I think, should be in there as well. And a little bit of a leading role too. I know she's been in, she was in Infinity War and she had her own part, but I think, her stepping up into the Black Panther role more would be good for her character too. And She-Hulk, start putting respect into She-Hulk's name for a casual audience. The second you put her up there with the Avengers and shows that she can hold her own, and if you write her better than the Hulk, because I mean, let's be honest, that bar is so low. Like,
Better than Red Hulk?
probably.
Dude, She-Hulk should be, I'm sorry, but She-Hulk still to this day should be an ace for the MCU and a crossover cameo queen. Hands down. Easily. But
I think she should have taken the role that Black Widow did, almost. Where, she was kind of like in a little bit of everything and a lot of the MCU. I think that's how She-Hulk needs to be too, where it's like she's going into these different parts and can show her range in there.
well, we'll talk about her again, hopefully, at some point.
Yeah,
Hopefully. One last thing to touch on before we jump into the Deadpool and Wolverine section of this. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts because I know we chatted about it within our Discord, but Kevin Feige again, since he came out of his hiding place, via comicbook.com, he commented on possibly doing an Avengers versus X-Men film. And, with all smiles, he's like, what's fun is it's all possible now. And here at the Point 3 podcast, it's been something that's on our radar of a potential hope. As we kind of get closer to the reveal of the MCU's version of X-Men, and as we see kind of more legacy characters, hopefully here in the next 24 hours or less, is the reality of an Avengers versus X-Men film, or I guess what, are you guys buying or selling that's a real possibility?
Buying.
I'm buying
Easy
it.
buy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they're gonna take elements of Avengers versus X-Men and Secret Wars and merge them together for Secret Wars. Yeah.
X Wars.
That would be. They kind
no,
of started
no,
doing it already.
No, that's my don't do it. Don't do it.
I thought you were throwing out some like X mutant like signs. I was like, I don't know.
Well, I'm throwing up the X for the stop. That was my bad.
Oh,
yeah, that was the.
I thought you were gassing me up.
No, I did. No. Bro, you just went straight reverse, Spider-Man. Now you push the gas and it was just backwards.
Yeah, my bad.
In the garage.
I meant to hit the gear in reverse, and I didn't do it all the way. Yeah.
Dang.
The thing is, I agree with you, Spider-Brando. I do think they'll probably end up taking aspects from Avengers versus X-Men and put it in Secret Wars, but I don't think they should. I really don't think they should. It's too little time to really set that up, and not that the Avengers versus X-Men story or comic had a great story. I don't think it had a great story necessarily, but if you're going to do it in live action, build it up. And to be quite honest, Secret Wars is its own big event that is going to make enough money for the MCU for this big finale. This is something you do post your soft reboot where you now need to make your next big money movie. And it's Avengers versus X-Men. Like, people will show up for that. That's the dream match that people have been wanting to see, especially if the next saga has more of a mutant X-Men focus with the Avengers characters. And Morgan, I do kind of agree with you. It's going to be too busy to get the praise that it needs. And if you're going to end up putting it in Avengers 5, which for some reason, after this interview, everybody and their mother came out and they're like, "Yo, Avengers 5 means it's gonna be Avengers versus X-Men."
No.
That's really not a good. It's not a good take because that means again, what Avengers 5 release date is like 2 years from now. Yeah, that is
supposed to start filming next year. That's not enough time.
That is not enough time to do any of that. No. So stay away from Avengers versus X-Men for a while.
Yeah, you need more groundwork. And I think this goes back to segmenting and really getting your stars aligned for each universe. Have your mystical characters, have your street characters, have your universal characters. Like even the whole thing of, we knew kind of for a while it was, Nova was on the radar for the MCU, and Feige comes out and, and confirms that, give it 3 or 4 years and we should see a Nova, which should backfill some things for us. But again, like Avengers versus X-Men, or even anyone, like if it's the Nova Corps versus, I don't know, the Ultimates, or it doesn't matter. There's got to be a big event to where each side has their moment, but then why would one be fighting the other? There's some sort of core, right, that we learn about these characters that makes them want to protect or fight for it. The X-Men have no reason to fight for anything because they don't exist, and the Avengers team doesn't exist. Like right now, it's just not the time to do that. And even the core of what the series was, or back in 2012, like we have zero elements of that existing today if they even wanted to pull from that.
And yeah, and I don't think they necessarily need to go down that route too. But if you look at why Civil War works so well, is because you laid the groundwork. If Avengers 2 was Civil War, it would not be that good because you didn't have the time to really connect with every single one of these characters and really enjoy them. Civil War works because you got to see a lot. You got to see these teams work together. You got to see their personalities come out. You got to see how their relationships played out. So when they had to turn their backs on each other, it hurt. It sucked to see. You didn't want to see Iron Man fight Cap, but you did at the same time because it was like the story that was being told. If you just throw in Avengers versus X-Men for no reason, you're not going to care. Other than a cool fight, you're not going to care. And it's going to end up flopping. And then in a year after, people are going to be like, hey, remember Avengers versus X-Men? It kind of sucked, didn't it? And we're going to be like, yeah, it kind of did. But you remember that cool scene, though? That's all we're going to be able to talk about. But when we look back at Civil War, we're able to talk about a lot more with it. We're able to talk about the cool fight scenes, but we're able to talk about the fact that, hey, they were able to introduce Spider-Man and Black Panther into the MCU, and they both got time to shine.
Yeah. That's an 8-year story that lasted for 3 more years for Fallout. Like, a lot went into Civil War to feel as good as it did, and Civil War made Infinity Game. That's right. I said Infinity Game. Feel great. So,
I like that Infinity Game phrase,
dude. It's one movie. I'm sorry, everyone's like, they're two separate movies. Like, just,
and then it's just like annoying to say, like, oh yeah, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, like Infinity Game. That's dog. I love it.
It's Infinity War Part 1, Part 2, or whatever.
And it really is. It really is. And I think that's how this should be. If you want my ideal, like, perfect world take on how they make this movie, you make one Avengers movie. You make one X-Men movie, both of them tie into each other, but they push the narrative along, one from the Avengers point of view, one from the X-Men's point of view, and then your third one is Avengers versus X-Men.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, dude, you got to get the other side looking like the villain, right? We got that in Civil War, but that's a big gripe that people have for Civil War. It's like the story felt rushed, and that's a large story to tell, but you do need that perspective. They do it in video games all the time and they crush it.
Yeah.
But when you do it and you're like, the Avengers aren't the bad guys, but you're like, damn, are they the bad guys? And then you're like, the X-Men aren't the mutants aren't the bad guys. Like, that would be crazy. So definitely think they should do it at some point. That point just isn't now, which means our DC versus Marvel is probably like 100 years away. So
X-Men versus Avengers 10.
10?
Yeah, 10 years. MCU versus DCU 20.
Okay. Morbius 2, 30.
Morbius 2, 2 years, baby. That's coming out in 2 years. Sony's going to announce it, and they're going to be like, it's part of the MCU. And it actually comes out right before Avengers Secret Wars.
Listen, can we all
ties directly into Secret Wars.
Can we shout out, though, that Jared Leto was like, I kind of was in over my head with that movie. Like, I had no business doing that.
That's good. I mean, it's good that he admitted that, but he still can't admit he was a bad Joker.
That's a conversation for another day. I don't know if that was his fault, though.
I know. But...
You guys don't want to hear Rick Ross in Purple Lamborghini?
Hey, listen, the soundtrack was pretty good.
Soundtrack was pretty. I listen to it every once in a while. I'm not going to lie. But any more Marvel news before we talk about the biggest thing that is potentially happening all year?
I think it's time.
Okay. Hero, you want to take us away?
Yeah. We are, like we said earlier at the start of the stream, we are less than 24 hours away before Deadpool and Wolverine officially gets released to the general public. It had its premiere 2 days ago on Monday. A lot of people coming out saying reviews about it. Looking pretty good from what we've seen so far, unless you're IGN. But when do we ever pay attention to IGN here? It's tracking to be a huge opening weekend. I think it's tracking 360.
360.
All right. And it's
global.
Worldwide.
360
Yeah,
global.
Domestic is about what, 2 something?
Like 220, 240?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which makes me think 400 is in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, which is insane. Absolutely insanity.
Yes.
On Fandango, it passed Dune Part 2 is the biggest pre-seller of 2024. Um, Deadpool and Wolverine is it's we've been talking about that hype train and how it's like an overdrive. Right now it's in like
Hyperdrive.
yeah,
We're in
hyperdrive.
the 7th dimension.
Yeah, it's going through light years through people, A train style. It's not stopping. Shout
That
out
was
to
a good
boys.
one.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine. I think we've said a lot about the film in this past year. And looking back, it's been very exciting to talk about this movie, see our hype level go from kind of like a little whatever, you know. Then we got the suit reveal, and we're like, oh, okay, we're like this, we like this. And then the next big thing was really the Super Bowl trailer, where they were like, yeah, this is now officially called Deadpool and Wolverine, not Deadpool 3. And I think that tweaked our expectations of the movie a lot. And then since February, it's just been kind of ramping slowly up. And now we're at a fever pitch. And I don't think any of us know what to do anymore.
Except to rewatch Deadpool 1 and 2 over and over again.
Yep. And X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen that movie, I mean, one, it's a very interesting movie, but two, I think it's helped my perspective going into Deadpool and Wolverine so much more, and I love it. I don't love the movie, but I love like just being able to cherish where this whole team up started, and from how bad of interpretation that Deadpool was, it's just beautiful. Like, I had this tweet earlier at the time. It was absolutely wild to think I'll be 1 hour and 30 minutes into Deadpool and Wolverine in 36 hours from now. Now I'll probably be done with the movie in like 24 hours. But it's been 7 years since Logan, last time we saw Hugh, 6 years since Deadpool 2, and we've all been kind of following the production for the movie for the past like 2 to 3 years, and heavily more with the podcast over the past year. And it's finally time for this movie to come out, and it just feels magical again. Like, it's been Deadpool, X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, what, 2007? No.
8.
8?
Yeah,
That's still like
I believe 8.
16 years ago is when they first
Just
are
got its
on
license.
screen together of Hugh and Ryan and Deadpool and Wolverine. And now we get a whole team up of the two of them. It's just beautiful.
The marketing for this movie needs to be studied, because this is probably one of the most successful marketing superhero. Yeah, honestly, superhero film wise, because I think, like we were saying before, it was just not something that we were kind of hyped about, and then they kept teasing, kept showing, kept releasing stuff, I think interestingly, you know, and at the right time, showing stills, showing merchandise. And then right now, this past week, I mean, all the stuff that we've seen between new popcorn buckets that do spoil a little bit, nothing too crazy. I think if you've been following, if you've been following, you kind of know. And I mean, it's like I said, nothing too crazy. The popcorn buckets, the new action figures, the thick controllers for Xbox, you know, just all the food marketing together. I think that's
everywhere.
part of everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, you literally can't not talk about it. And I was at work today, and people were talking about it. Like, people that I don't even really, you know, talk to about nerd stuff. I heard them having a conversation. They're like, "Hey, you gonna go see Deadpool and Wolverine?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm going this weekend, or, you know, next week or whatever," because, you know, they're not like super into it. But it's still very cool that even the most casual people are still talking about it.
My coworkers are excited for me just because the movie's coming out, because of how much stuff they've been seeing about it. And then it's just just crazy. I've had a lot of friends. It just casually came with the popcorn bucket, and just how wild that Wolverine one is. Just casually came up to one of my friends' Twitch streams the other day, and just they got invested, and they're like, "Damn, I kind of want to see the movie now." It's spreading everywhere, and it's beautiful for an R-rated movie. Also, that
Yeah.
will surpass box office
Yeah.
expectations and will hit that $1 billion mark. We're in a great time. I have a
Fantastic.
friend in Japan that saw it already too. I'm so jealous.
Shout out to everybody in the East that got to see it early. But Lou, I was gonna shout you out. I love the fact that looking back on like our older videos, just your journey with this movie and how it's changed.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wouldn't change it. I have gone through a whirlwind of emotions, as all of you have. I'm with. I felt that last week too. I was like, gosh, like,
I think
I
we're all
basically,
there.
yeah, guys. I'm gonna add my final layer to this whole journey of from suit reveal to pre DPW. I have an even greater appreciation rewatching Deadpool 1 and 2 of just the creativity. Like, our talk about Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool made me like Deadpool 1 and 2 better. I have such a greater appreciation for how well done 1 and 2 are, that it does kind of feed into that marketing aspect that we were talking about, of just like, it is becoming so recognizable and has its own like gravity that very few things, like, I don't even think Spider-Man's on this level from a live action perspective. Tom Holland's, I don't think he feels as good as Deadpool Wolverine does. Again, Spider-Man obviously recognizable. I'm not comparing from that perspective, but just like the fun quirkiness, the aura that Deadpool has, and then again pulling in Wolverine. I have this question for you guys, and I've been thinking about this a lot going into it. I'm like, what am I really looking for in this? Right? We know what a Deadpool movie is like. We know what a Wolverine Logan movie is like. But who are you more excited to see in this movie? Deadpool or Wolverine? What's your split? Is it 60-40, 70-30, 50-50? Here, I'll throw it over to you first.
I thought I was actually thinking about this exact question earlier. Yeah, I was like, who am I more excited to see? And I think it's just 50-50. The appreciation for both is just through the roof and what they both bring to the table. And I do think this is one of those perfect marriages of, if this was just a Deadpool movie, it would do very well. And if this was just a Wolverine movie, it would do very well. But it's the marriage of both that this now becomes like undeniable. Markham 10 Deadpool, 10 Wolverine, 80 Taylor Swift Dazzler.
Yes.
No.
That's getting there. It's happening. Maybe in 24 hours, I will know if I have to delete that vlog or not.
I think if she's not in the movie, you need to get a tattoo of Taylor Swift as Dazzler on your body. I think that's what needs to happen.
Dude.
I am not saying anything on a live stream that will legally bind me to doing this. So I have no comment.
We gotta find something. Yeah, we gotta find
tattoo, temporary tattoo, maybe.
We'll talk about it later. But yeah, no, 50-50 for me. I do think it's 50-50.
I think it's 50-50 also. And what made it 50-50 was having been able to rewatch Logan the other day. Obviously, I've been excited to, ever since they said like Wolverine's gonna be in it and they had the whole like Hugh Jackman reveal. I've been hyped to see Wolverine or Logan again. We've seen Deadpool, and we know how Deadpool is, but we've never seen Wolverine play off of someone like a Deadpool before. And just knowing how Hugh and Ryan have always wanted to work together, they've had comments before saying how they have certain scenes in here where you might not like. They just get into it so well that you can't tell who's actually talking between Ryan and Hugh or Wolverine and Deadpool. And that type of energy, just like, I gotta see the both of them. It's 50-50 for me.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'm gonna go 60-40. I'm gonna lean 60 Deadpool, 40 Wolverine. For one specific reason, and I think the feel is like Wolverine has such a solid floor of like you kind of know what to expect from a Hugh Jackman Logan, but his ceiling is really high in terms of him kind of really being this Wolverine first and foremost, and it's kind of he can take some different creativity and have a different route in terms of how he's playing that character. But Deadpool, people have high expectations for Deadpool, and I think we can be wowed by Deadpool's humor, Deadpool's seriousness, the action scenes. I mean, I'm expecting some of the best action moments of all time in this movie. But I think Deadpool just has a wider range of outcomes, and I think ultimately a higher ceiling of being like, wow. I could see myself being wowed by Deadpool more so than Wolverine. Maybe that's a little biased from my perspective, but I'm just curious to see how they establish the MCU Deadpool, because Wolverine will be Wolverine, but how do they channel the Deadpoolness of this character and establish that moving forward, since we know this isn't going to be the last time that we'll see him, in live action. This is just a start. So more intrigued from that perspective, but it easily could be, maybe I'll say 55-45.
I'm torn. My numbers just keep going between 60-40, 50-50, just 45-55 now. After talking about it, I just need this movie injected straight into my damn veins.
Yeah.
You could go. I was gonna say something stupid.
Oh, no, that's fine. I mean, your answer to this might be stupid. Just kidding. Who's your sleeper of the movie? This has always been kind of
I don't know.
fun. Hero, you got one?
I'm trying to think like who would be kind of the third.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Third person of this movie. Yeah, maybe Cassandra.
Yeah,
I would say maybe Cassandra Nova.
That's my pick.
Yeah. I'm gonna triple that because not a lot of people know about her as like a character in general. I barely know about her. I didn't even know before you guys talked about her or explained her to me on a live stream. I didn't even know she was freaking Charles' sister. I feel like she's gonna have like a high evolutionary vibe to where like no one's really like expecting like too craziness, and then it's just gonna be like, damn, I want more.
I will be excited to see, and why I would consider her as a sleeper is not so much like when you say high evolutionary, I go to that like despicable route. I'm just like, ooh, like I hope you get everything you deserve and more. I have a feeling that I might walk out of this movie and I'm like, she had extreme likability. Like I really liked her in this movie. Because we don't really have any foundation. Like this is a very original character from a live action perspective. And I just think the way that Deadpool characters are, you kind of like all of them. Like it's very hard. Like in one way or another, you see a character and if they get enough screen time, you're like, oh, I want to watch them again.
Yeah. I just think it'll be interesting to see what they make her personality like.
Yeah.
And from what it seems with like the facial expressions we've seen in trailers, it looks like she's going to be very like, out there in a way, which, if she's if they're following the fact that she's Xavier's twin, which they probably are, um it'll be nice to see how, and especially maybe more Hugh's Wolverine plays off that fact more than Deadpool. So I don't know. It's just, I think with much of this movie as well, it's just kind of endless of what they can do, and we just have to kind of wait and see tomorrow what we get out of it.
Yeah. Okay. One last thing, not to dive too deep into it, not to get too spoilery-ish, but is there one like way left field cameo that you guys are hoping to see in this movie? Wow, Spider-Man that was clutch, dude.
Wow.
That was like weird.
Wow.
That was weird.
You're muted, but wow.
I was gonna say, I got these ready, man.
He hit them with that Professor X.
I need someone to clip that. I'm making that my background on my phone, dog.
Spotlight me and I'll do it again right now. I don't know how to do it on here, but if you do it, I'll do it right now.
Oh, no, it's just easily.
That's clean.
You guys ready? You guys ready? Everybody at home, what are you thinking? There we go.
That's my favorite thing all time. Oh, I love that. Now you have to have a cameo. You might as well. You earned the first choice there.
Yeah, I do think we're getting a Professor X cameo. And I think it'll be Maccabee.
Ooh.
We already got Stuart. In the MCU.
We did.
So I think we'll get a Maccabee. But if not, well, if we're gonna get another one, I'll let you guys, and then I'll go back.
Ooh.
Noir Spider-Man. Is it just gonna be Nicolas Cage? Is he gonna sing now
Not
too?
again.
Is he gonna sing now too?
He's gonna fight a big spider.
Oh god.
I
have a wild prediction. Not wild, I guess, because kind of, I guess, could be plausible. I think someone from the Fantastic Four will be in it. Not the OG Fantastic Four, but like the new Fantastic
New one?
Oh wow.
SDCC weekend. Fantastic Four starts filming the Monday after SDCC. The movie comes out a year from like this exact date.
Yo.
It's time to start generating the hype for them, and Marvel's taking notes. They're seeing DC getting all this popularity from the set photos. What could be more hype than them having a full Fantastic Four type weekend with the cameo or someone just cameoing in there? The whole H panel that we theorize or that they probably will get into, and then filming on Monday. Like, it's just a perfect storm for them to do something with it. Even if it's just like Johnny, like not even like one of them, like maybe just like their suit and like a glimpse of one of them. I think it'll happen.
That'd be cool. Yo, get my boy Wong with Madison in this movie,
bro. Please.
Oh, Wong would be cool. I would love to see Wong in here.
I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
They could do some fun stuff.
Spider-Man, that's not gonna happen. But the fact that Sean Levy and them all been talking about Spider-Man recently,
it's his like car thing. Why is he doing that?
Yeah. Why is he doing that? Sean Levy.
How does he know?
I'd love to direct a movie with Tom Holland, Hugh Jackman. Oh yeah, I'd love to talk about Tom Holland.
Unless that's a mislead.
Oh man, it probably is, because they did admit that they've been misleading a lot of stuff. But I don't know. I always think about that one movie that Tom Holland has left on his contract. It makes you wonder.
Well, Markham, I was just thinking about it, and he did say, God, I hope it's Nick Cage. if we're gonna talk like wild left out there theories, a Ghost Rider Nick Cage cameo.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
One of the worst sequels of all.
And he's just pissing fire on someone.
Yeah.
Like I would pop off pretty hard if I saw that. I don't know about you guys. Like that would be a funny cameo.
I would like that. I would like that. Oh, I would like that.
I would really like that. I'm also go back to one of our old theories, like very old theories. I think this was even before the first trailer that we got. I think you guys will remember this one. I hope that whoever's next in line for Wolverine is in this.
Hey, that's my theory too. I have a good theory on that. I just listened to it. Can I play the clip actually? Because I just I do have the link to like screen share
We're gonna call copyright.
Yeah.
of our own video.
We're gonna copyright our own stuff.
We're gonna strike ourselves.
Yeah. Pay us 0.3.
Yeah. That's how big brain we are.
Yeah. I think they're gonna not get money from us.
Because this cooks right here. Like I was re-listening to that episode. I was like, hold on.
Okay, for context, when was this?
2 months ago.
No, so during the trailer.
2024. That's like right after the trailer.
Oh, I was very wrong then on the timeline.
Early predictions. Let's do it.
So, my theory. Main timeline MCU movie. Wolverine is in this movie, but has the mask on and we don't know who it is. That's going to piss me off. But I guarantee they're going to do some shit like that, man. I was very mad over this.
That would be a bold choice. And I would like it because Marvel hasn't done anything bold like that in a hot minute.
It's a valid point.
You're on my thought track. You're on my thought track. To where if the variants are the same and they're all Hugh Jackman, that sets up a massive problem for the future of the mutants, because you're like, then all of you have to look like, even though we know all Spider-Men don't look the same, right? Tom is different from Toby. Toby's different from Andrew. They're all Spider-Man, but they look different. It would be genius if they had different actors who are Wolverine. Now, for me personally, I'm bought in, because I'm like, okay, good. You're keeping Hugh Jackman and that version of Logan separate. And maybe we do get all those theories of like a Daniel Radcliffe or a Charlie Hunnam or whoever they can get, even if wow, this is terrible that I'm Henry Cavill. Someone, if they're coming in and they are versions of Wolverine, all badass, fine, all day long. Give me that. Because now anyone can be Wolverine. And now I'm going to be looking at Wolverine slightly different, of saying that was a version and an interpretation. These ones are going to be different as well. So I will give you that from a theory standpoint of, yes, fine. It won't feel watered down if they're different, but I do think that there is a carryover version that gets hinted at that could be kind of the prototype for the 616. But I do think the Hugh Jackman version does carry over to Secret Wars, or at least Avengers 5. I don't know if he'll make it through both. And again, we have to take into consideration how extremely hard it is to kill Wolverine. So unless it's an incursion and some universes clashing together, good luck.
Okay. Nice.
But yeah, I guess
here to hear first, folks. Because that entire video, I can't lie, but I really enjoyed listening back to that, and want to share a playlist that I made for all of our Deadpool coverage that I want to link.
Yeah.
But yeah, those cameos would be crazy. And yeah, just think that was 3 months ago?
Yeah. 3 months ago.
Yep. All right. I think all of our cameo predictions are very solid. Very solid. Well, I think we one very, very last question, round it off. Final box office predictions.
Ooh.
It's something we like to do just for fun. Final box office predictions.
Wait, do we want to do opening weekend first?
Opening and then ending.
Dude, Spider-Brando, get out of my brain.
I had this. I shared this one already. I shared this one earlier. We talked about.
Yeah.
Opening and then we'll
we're
do
on
final.
point, man. We're
Yeah,
all on
opening
point.
and final.
Yeah.
I got this one too. Final.
Oh. Well, that says hype level. It didn't say box
I know.
office.
I just said final, man.
Yeah.
Hit us with it then. Go first.
All right. Domestically,
Nah, get out of here with that. Just total.
what?
Unless you want to break it down. I mean, you can break it down, but that would be plus points. Because who won last time? Didn't you win?
I think he won, yeah.
Yeah, I won. I
All right.
did. I was like 30 million off too, which was still wild.
It was like a weird flex if you get it right based on the math of domestic and global.
Well, we did domestic the last time.
We did do domestic last time.
All right, I forget what I'm
We
saying.
gotta be
Go for it.
consistent. We gotta be consistent.
That's fair.
Domestically, I'm seeing it twice myself. I got tickets for Thursday and Saturday. I'm gonna say a nice sweet 236.9 million.
Bro, what is this breakdown? You couldn't make it any.
Bro, I hope it's 236.8. You're over. You lose.
Yeah, wrong.
It's who's ever closest. You guys still owe me pops from the last one.
We gotta double check what even the last one was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, and then final. What's it making?
$1 zillion. No, I'm kidding. I think it's gonna break 1.1 billion.
Lowballing?
All right. Lou, yours has changed the most. So what's your final?
Domestic, I'm going to lock in 275. In total, run one, 1.5.
1.15 or 1.5?
1.5.
Oh damn, man! I feel like I'm way under now.
1.5. I've underestimated this movie too much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's domestic. I'm gonna say 2. And this might sound low, but just remember, worldwide does help a lot too. I'm gonna say 220, which is still incredibly high.
220.
I think 220 is still really good. It'll fall like just a tad bit short of what everybody expects in terms of like box office, but that's still really good for an R-rated movie on its domestic opening weekend. Final, my original answer was 1.5, so you took that. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go all in on my last week's statement where I was like, this is a movie that might make $2 billion. I don't think it's gonna make $2 billion. I've calmed down a little bit. 1.7.
Damn, I'm so low.
I think 1.7 billion is what it's gonna make. At the end of it, 1.7 billion.
Last quick reason of why you guys feel that way at this point now. In the most spoiler-free, I know we don't have many spoilers because we actually want to enjoy this movie, but
Inside Out 2 made 1.4. It's the highest animated grossing film of all time at 1.4.
Not rated R.
But it's a kids movie. Yes.
Exactly.
But you know how when you're an adult, you're gonna spend adult R-rated money as many times as you want. Like you said, you're gonna watch it twice. Both of us will probably watch it 1 or 2 more times.
Yeah.
With our grown adult
Morgan's
money.
gonna be the one that makes it get to 1 billion. Anyway,
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So all of our efforts combined, but no, in all seriousness, I do think that there are going to be people who see this more than once.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's going to factor into it. And then you also have a crowd of casuals flooding back in because it's Hugh Jackman. It's Deadpool.
It's true.
Um,
That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think 1.7 because of that.
MCU implications. If this
Damn.
actually does something with the MCU,
Even bigger.
it will be a north of 1.25. I was worried about that, and that's why I lowballed it the first time and said like an $850,000-$900,000 movie. But if we are to believe what's being said, and the movie looks really good, and these cameos pop off, and we're getting once in a lifetime things, solely because we haven't felt this way in 3 years,
Yeah.
people are going to want to feel it again, and they know that they can whenever they want to. This will be a multi-watch. I would not be surprised if there are more people that we see saying they saw this 2-3 times, like you'd mentioned.
Yeah.
Just because of that feeling that you can get from this movie. And I think you should see it twice. Go for the enjoyment and then watch it again for kind of that breakdown.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I'm doing it.
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Under 24 hours. Under 24 hours, and we will be changed people.
I think
Changed.
I would be like just getting out of it by this time.
No way who.
No way who. Yeah. No
Yeah.
way who.
Yeah. Who the best Marvel movie since Deadpool and Wolverine. I think that. But everybody drop down below in the comments in our social medias what you guys this movie will make in its domestic and its global box office. These are always fun just to do, just for funsies. And if you get close, we'll shout you out. Why not? Drop down if you're how excited you are for Deadpool. What's your final hype meter level? Again, in less than 24 hours. Super, super exciting. We are going to be talking about it probably nonstop in our Discord after a couple days, just so we can, avoid some spoilers for the members
We got
who
the spoiler tags in there that we'll
Yeah.
be able to
Yeah.
talk some spoilers in there. So if you want to hear, if you watch it and you want to discuss it with us, I can make a thread that's just specific Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler discussion, and we can all
Yeah.
spoiler tag everything.
Yep. Mr. Anti, that's something we'll need to talk about on another day, on another Spider-Man 4
see that?
video. But
Video.
Weekly.
yeah, we will get there. We will get there. But yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, super exciting. Remember, don't spoil the movie for people either on your own social medias. Don't do stupid stuff like I saw one today and I immediately skipped it, but this was a very, very famous and relevant TikTok creator who I just personally don't mess with. I'm not going to say their name, but they made a video rating all the cameos without saying who they are and my reaction to them. Yeah, that's the video they made. It's very stupid stuff. Don't spoil like that, and don't do any of the dumb if you know, and then you post a picture of something clearly very obvious. Don't do that kind of stuff. Be good people. Genuinely don't
Give it the
post
weekend. Give it the
Yeah.
weekend.
If you
Wait
like
till
the
I-
movie, just say let's fucking go, and then that's it. That's it. They
That's
gave it
it.
to us from the beginning of what to say.
Yeah.
Just
Put your star
LFG.
rating.
Yeah.
Put
Forget
your
about
star
your
rating.
followers.
Yeah.
Get that stuff out of here, man.
Yeah, put your star rating, put your, what you thought of it or your grade for the movie, and that's it. That's all you have to do if you want to get your thoughts out, and then, wait, or also just go into the appropriate threads, because there are people who are posting like Facebook threads or, little Facebook areas where you can go talk spoilers. Again, in our own Discord, we'll have a section just for spoilers. So, go wild there, but don't go wild everywhere. Be good people. That's it.
It's an art to be spoiler free. It takes effort.
It does. But everybody, until next week's Wednesday live stream, and we will definitely be seeing you again before then for our Deadpool and Wolverine full review. There's 3 things that you need to keep doing constantly. You need to keep watching. You need to keep reading. And you need to keep nerding out about Deadpool and Wolverine. We'll see you next week.